So some people groups have the same legends.
Yes, and the significance.
Well, even if there was a global flood, how would the people fit all the animals onto the ark?
It was a massive rectangular structure that could easily house.
What kind of stories were you talking about? Back when you mentioned your mission work.
Yeah. I think the most intriguing to me are the ones that showcase the similarity of their flood legends. We'll take China's. It tells of a man named Fu He and his wife, 3 sons and 3 daughters, how they escaped a great flood that covered all the high mountains, killed all the people, and left the land in desolation for many years after. In an ancient temple, there's a wall that shows Fu He's boat in raging waters, with a dove flying toward it with an olive branch in its beak. And there are legends like this all over the world. Alexander the Great spoke of a past flood that covered all of the earth. The ancient Toltec Indians wrote of people escaping a flood in a box. And the people on the island of Hawaii tell of Nunu, who built a boat with a house on it and escaped a great flood with his wife, 3 sons, and many animals.
So some people groups have the same legends.
Yes, and the significance. So many of them are the same. It's as if they came from one actual event, the global flood.
Yeah. They're probably just legends of a bad local flood, back in their lineage.
If that were the case, the stories would be different. Besides that if it was a local flood, the people would just move away and come back when the flood was over. But so many have the same plot of a man who escapes a great flood with his family and many animals in a boat. This golden cord that runs through legends of peoples placed thousands of miles apart points to one historical event. The Bible records such an event, Noah's flood.
If there was proof, though, if there was a global flood, there'd be a lot of evidence.
But there is. Think about it. If there was a global flood, it'd be a cataclysmic, earth-moving event. And like they say, we'd find billions of dead things buried in rock layers laid down by water all over the earth.
So do we find these things?
Yes. We find billions of dead things buried in rock layers, fossils embedded in rock. And they're fossilized in peculiar ways. One was buried so quickly it was still eating breakfast, and another was yet in the process of giving birth. And others are in awkward positions. They're lending credence to a major catastrophe. Evolutionists say that they sank slowly to the bottom of a swamp and were covered in silt, slowly, and fossilized. But this doesn't conform with operational science, the science we can see and test. In the real world, when we see animals die in water, they soon float to the surface and deteriorate and get eaten by scavengers.
Well, even if there was a global flood, how would the people fit all the animals onto the ark? When I was a kid, I used to enjoy reading that storybook, but the ark looked pretty small.
Yes, that is the general depiction of Noah's Ark. But in reality, God told Noah to build the ark 510 feet long, 85 feet wide, and 51 feet tall. It was a massive, rectangular structure that could easily house all the animals on board. For scale, it was about 180 feet longer than a football field and taller than a 4-story building.
The creationists believe the dinosaurs lived back then. Surely they couldn't fit on the ark.
Well, when you think of dinosaurs, you tend to think of big ones. But actually, the average size of a dinosaur was about the size of a sheep, and Noah would naturally bring younger animals on board the ark so they'd have an entire lifespan ahead of them for repopulating the earth. And even the biggest dinosaur has to start from an egg no bigger than a football.
But 2 of each animal? That's just not possible.
Scientists have discovered that only about 16,000 animals would have to be on the ark, some by 2s and some by 7s. God told Noah to bring representatives of each kind, a broader term than species. Noah didn't have to bring 2 black labs, 2 English shepherds, 2 basset hounds. He brought 2 wolf-like animals that had all the genes in them to create labs, hounds, and shepherds. That's not evolution, that's natural selection. And the same goes for dinosaurs. There are hundreds of species of dinosaurs, but only about 50 kinds were needed to create all those species. So Noah only had to bring 50 different kinds of dinosaurs on the ark with him, and again, all averaging about the size of a sheep.
Wow. That's interesting.
Well, howdy, son. Where are you headed?
Thank you. I'm headed to California.
Oh, California. I guess you left to find work.
Well, partly.
Ginny, maybe I can find out just why Dad came back so different.
Some people say that truth is according to experience. What I think is truth for me, and truth for somebody else may be totally different.
Well, Douglas, I'd like you to meet Rebecca Shirley.
This golden cord that runs through legends of peoples placed thousands of miles apart points to one historical event.
If there was proof, though, I mean, if there was a global flood, there'd be a lot of evidence.
I grew up a Christian, Lee. The Bible and science stopped fitting together.
How can you say that natural selection isn't evolution?
We can't force the evidence to fit our models.
But if something were actually true, wouldn't it be the same for everybody? Why would he let my mother die and my father leave us when we needed them both?
It's yours now.
The odds against flight evolving just once makes it impossible, but 4 separate times?
But in order to do that, the scientists must make 3 critical assumptions.
Soft tissue can't last for 65 million years.
The animal must gain information in its DNA.
Are you still looking?
I will find what I'm looking for, and I will come home.